We are at the OR Tambo offices at Mthatha Park. We have just come from the Anglican Church at Slovo Park that housed a number of people who are victims of the floods that hit Mthatha in June. They are complaining that they were not consulted when the district municipality decided to move some of them to the OR Tambo Hall. They are saying that they are homeless and they are no longer getting the services that they were getting when they were housed at the Mass Care Center at Slovo Park, because the services are now targeted to the people who are now housed at the OR Tambo Hall. But we have the communications manager of the OR Tambo District Municipality, Ms. Ncebakazi Kolwane, who will be talking to us more about that. Ms. Kolwane, thank you very much for your time. The residents are complaining that they were not consulted when the district municipality decided to move some of them to the OR Tambo Hall. What can you say about that?
We assure the people that proper consultation was done to all the victims that were housed in the mass care centers, in the mass care center in question. However, the people who seem to be having a problem now are people who decided voluntarily not to stay in the mass care centers because they had their own places that they would be able to sleep at. Now the problem is that when we are taking the people who were staying in the mass care center to the OR Tambo Hall, the benefits and everything that was rolled out and given to the people who were in the mass care center will now be taken and done where they are placed. Now the problem is that they feel that they are going to miss out on the beneficiation. We do want to ask them to allay their fears and understand that in terms of allocation of temporary housing units, the lists are not going to be affected. The lists are not going to change. Anyone whom was deemed to be fit or to be qualifying for a temporary housing unit due to homelessness or any other reason will remain a beneficiary. However, when we are rolling out the temporary housing units, we are going to prioritize vulnerable groups like the elderly, people who are on chronic treatment, and children and the child-headed households. Otherwise, everyone who was deemed to be a due beneficiary of the temporary housing units will get their temporary housing unit. No changes will be effected in terms of the list. They must not think that because now we have moved the people who were in the mass care center to the OR Tambo Hall, then it means they will be deprived or will be taken off the list.
Thank you very much for talking about the list and how they will benefit from temporary structures. I was going to ask you that question, but now let's talk about the issue of verification, because when we were there, they told us that there are people who went to Slovo Park or Dikolini and all those areas that were affected by the floods. Some were there to keep some people's house. Maybe the owner went to work in Port Elizabeth, for an example, and one was a herdman and the other came there as a domestic worker. How are you then going to make sure that the houses that you are allocating to those people go to the right people, and you don't give houses to people maybe who don't deserve such?
Thank you very much for outlining the challenges and the possibilities that could arise as a result of the problem that we are in. When the assessment was done, people were physically taken to point out the places they owned or the houses that they claim were destroyed as a result of flood, because we also learned that even people who were staying in those places as domestic workers and for any other, some were even renting, now see this as an opportunity to get housing from government. We have tightened our verification. We take a person to show us where their family was before the destruction caused by the flood. So we have ensured that we tighten our verification processes to ensure that there is no undue beneficiation to that effect.
Thank you very much, Ncebakazi Kolwane, the communications manager at the OR Tambo District Municipality, saying that those people who seem to be concerned that they will miss out should not be concerned, because they are still part of the victims. They are still part of the people who are going to be benefiting in terms of the allocation of temporary structures, which are underway, by the way, at Maiden Farm, because we were there just 2 days ago and we saw that construction is underway in terms of preparing, or rather making sure that those victims are moved to a safer place. It's now back to studio.